Sarah, thank you so much for coming in. It was a very traumatic thing reading it. I mean, I wonder how you actually managed to piece that all together, keeping your sanity intact.
Well, to be honest, it was a bit of a traumatic story to write. It actually started in May 2015, and I went to go and visit a university professor, because I'm a science journalist by profession, and I went to go talk to her about the difference between races in the skeleton, so if you could see race in the bones. And she showed me the skull, and it had all these impact points, like you could see these stars bursting on its skull. And this gentleman had been hit in the head 10 times at least, had his hands broken and thrown down a water pipe, and was unidentified. And then I found that this was actually a really common phenomenon. 3 people every day will die in Gauteng of unnatural deaths and will be unidentified.
Now, what was interesting in that first article that struck me was that many of those are migrants to the country. So it seems to be really difficult to trace their identity.
Well, it's assumed that they're migrants. So there's no data to back that up. But the thing is, when we turn 16 as South Africans, we swap our fingerprints for an ID card. And so the thinking is then that if SAPS takes your fingerprints and you're not in the system, then you must be foreign. But we don't know, because we don't know who these people are.
In terms of the burials they receive, in fact, let's go back a step. There appear to be a mortuary staff who try to keep these bodies for as long as possible in the hope that family members will arrive to identify them. How often does that actually happen in reality?
Unfortunately, we spent a lot of time in the Hillbrow medico-legal facility, and we worked with people who really care. Like, they try and hold on to bodies as long as possible, but it's difficult. Sometimes if their families are illegal migrants, the illegal migrants don't want to come forward, they don't want to collect the body, or sometimes the body's unrecognizable, or the people just don't know. A family member doesn't know that their loved one is in a mortuary.
What was quite disturbing was that image of someone lying out in a veld, and that statement you made, which I thought was quite powerful. You know, if you want to kill someone and erase their identity, basically, this would be a good place to do it.
As the one lady said, all you need is a brick. And I mean, this is so common that officials call them felt bodies, so they have their own moniker. But we don't know how many Gauteng specifically, of their dead are found in this way. And Gauteng is kind of jacked up because at least we have numbers. We don't have numbers for the rest of the country. There isn't a national database that's open to everyone to scrutinize.
In terms of the paupers burials, which you have covered in this third article, and I know you went along to one of them, what exactly have you seen at the cemeteries?
So we arrived at the Doornkop cemetery in Soweto, which is the latest cemetery that's taking these unidentified and unclaimed bodies. And it was 7 adults and 30 babies. And it was 20 babies to a grave. And they would pile them, they would make a layer of these small, like chipboard coffins, and then stand on them and reach up to put another layer. Adults' bodies, they're 3 per 6-foot grave. And then the 4th grave was 1 adult and 10 children.
Now the babies' bodies, are those unidentified as well? Surely not. Under what circumstances are they being buried?
So the thing is, there's a distinction. There's unclaimed bodies, there's paupers burials, and there are unidentified. Unidentified is when you don't know a name. That could be infanticide, which is quite prevalent in South Africa and in Gauteng. Babies found in bins, in drains. And then you have your unclaimed bodies, or where the people, that they know the name but don't know the family or don't have any connection who could bury them. And a pauper's burial is where a family actually signs the body over to the state and admit we don't have the money to bury this person. And that's common. It's becoming more common as South Africans feel the pinch of economic times.
Sarah, the story must have left you with some quite haunting, not just memories, but facts as well of what is going on in the country regarding unclaimed bodies. Do you see a way of solving this problem in the near future, the way the system is set up right now?
It's a very complex problem. It's like where all of South Africa's problems come together in the system that's kept behind closed doors. So in my approach to this, I would suggest that we need to start seeing mortuaries and the forensic system as part of the justice system. We think justice, we think cops on the street. We want to deal with crime, well, we want more police. Whereas they're also part of the system, these forensic officers and the detectives who are trying to solve these crimes, because that's also how you find killers.
Sarah Wild, thanks very much for coming in to talk to us. Really interesting series of articles and so sensitively handled. Do try to read that series if you can. Journalist Sarah Wild, whose articles were published in the Mail and Guardian.